So I am here with the legendary, infamous creator of MIRPH, MIRPH Audio Designs. Is it MIRPH Audio?
Murf
MIRPH
Designs.
Designs, okay.
Yeah.
And you've recently come out with another headphone. So can you tell me
Yeah.
about first maybe the MIRPH one and then
Right.
and
Yeah.
then the new one that's come out?
Yeah. So Murf one it started as a project, right? I started like 5 years ago. I think I met you in DMS in Munich.
Yeah. We were like,
Yeah.
holy crap! He brought his own headphone that he made, and it
Right.
sounds better than much of the stuff.
Exactly. I brought it with me. The first person I ever showed the headphones was Antonio Meza, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
And he was like, "You made this?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's just a hobby." And I was like, "This sounds very nice."
Yeah.
What he did, he was like, "I'll call every engineer from Meza just to talk to you."
Wow.
They made like a round around me. I was like, "Yeah, this guy made a headphone. Try it out." And they were like super happy, like, "Oh, really? This is pretty good. You should do it like for real." And then I was like, okay, but I'm just a dude, right? And then later on the same day, I met you in DMS, and you both told me the same. Like, "Yeah, are you coming to Munich High-End like next year?" I was like, "No way, no, I don't think so." Yeah, eventually happened. I just like, long story short, I got tired of my previous job, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make it now." So I quit my job for that.
Right. So MIRPH 1, that was sort of the culmination of that original design that you had
Yeah.
been working on.
Exactly.
That was with a peerless Timpani 50mm driver
Right,
that everybody
yeah.
knows and loves.
Exactly.
What would you say is sort of the sound signature of that one?
Warm and smooth, I'd say.
Warm and
like, yeah, I wanted to do. The thing is, I never liked I liked the Grado design, but I didn't like how they sounded.
Right.
That's how I started. I was like, you know what? I'll prove the point that you can make like a Grado looking headphone that actually sounds good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people doubted that it would be possible to make something that's open back with bass extension. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make that happen.
Right.
And I started working on this. I figured out like better position for the driver, so it sounded like the way I liked it.
Yeah.
And that's what it became. Man.
I have to say, having taken one apart, your design is, I think, it's possibly the most unique design for the 50mm peerless because
Yeah.
it's so far back. It's like in a
Yeah.
tube.
Yeah.
Which shocks me that is.
Yeah.
It is warm and smooth. I would
Yeah.
describe it that way.
I also thought it wouldn't work. The thing is, back then I was trying to understand how like resonances worked, right? And I was like, what if I place the driver like at a different plane, right? Not like right in front of the ear, but like a bit behind.
Yeah.
Would something happen? Would that still work? So I made like a long tube, was like maybe like this wide, put it all the way outside, coupled to my ears, and was like, yeah, there's still bass in here, so it should work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to like try it out, take measurements,
Yeah.
until it came to the position where it is nowadays.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this actually, I think it sounds good.
Yeah.
And then I brought it to the high end, and everybody was like, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
That's the funny thing, because like having worked with that driver in the past, it's one where I think conventional wisdom around it is it likes to be close, super close. And that way
Exactly.
everybody else makes it super close.
Everybody was saying it has to be super close,
Yeah.
and you need to expose the rear side of the driver for
Yeah.
whatever reason. I was like, why? You
Yeah.
know? So I just tried like my own way, and it worked still. So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's such like hard rules in audio. No, you can still
Yeah.
try your own ideas. So yeah.
And you learn a lot along the way too.
A lot. Like you learn I mean, I had like a basic knowledge on how to design things in 3D, like CAD design.
Mm-hmm.
So you start from there, and then you start from like acoustics, materials, what works, what doesn't work,
Yeah.
resonances. You learn a lot of things, other than like learning how to actually have put together a business. So,
Yeah, of course. That's the other challenge.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you're
exactly.
basically a one-man show for manufacturing and
quite literally.
Yeah. And now you've moved on to the over here, the Vitrum. The gentleman is listening to it over there, and that's using a different driver. So can you tell me a little bit about that and the idea behind it?
Yeah, so that one, I met the people behind the manufacturing of the driver. They make a glass composite diaphragm that was like, what is this, right? So I went to their booth. They had like a big, like a bookshelf speaker kind of thing. And I liked the sound. I was like, okay, that makes no sense. It's glass, but like, you hear the word glass, I was like, no, that's gonna like, I don't know, sound
Yeah.
maybe like too sharp. I don't know. But it sounded nice, so I got it. I got it like 2 years ago, and I put in the same enclosure of the MIRPH one without changing anything.
Right.
and it kind of worked already. And I was like, okay, there's some potential here. But then eventually it came to the point where I was like, you know what? I'll move out of MIRPH 1. I'm gonna make something else, like different design. I want to do something from scratch that like doesn't look like anything like in the market already. Completely new design, like maybe a better platform, more ergonomic, and
with a
that's
new
how it
driver.
started. Exactly, and with a new driver. But I kind of like used what I learned at MIRPH 1, like kind of like the distance, like from the ear, the baffle design, like the ergonomics. I basically like took what I learned at MIRPH 1 for the new model.
Right.
So yeah.
And I mean, the whole thing looks a lot more refined.
Yeah.
In comparison to the MIRPH
Yeah.
one. So it looks like a pretty stark evolution
Yeah.
from that original one.
Yeah, I mean, it happened at the same time I decided to really like work full time on this. I don't know, sometimes it's kind of like inspiration, right? I had a moment where it was like, what if I make the grill as like this like wavy pattern with like the kind of like the fillets like cut through? What if I do that way? Would it be possible to manufacture it?
Yeah.
So I 3D printed like a prototype and I brought it to like a meetup in Munich, and people are like, "Oh, that's kind of crazy. What is this?"
Yeah.
But it was like 3D printed, and I was like, "Yeah, maybe I should make it like CNC aluminum." It worked, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna evolve this design like for real." So it was kind of like a small adaptation, like over MIRPH 1, but I was like, "You know what? I'll create something from scratch."
Yeah.
And I redesigned the whole thing, and it became what it is.
So if you could describe the sound and maybe the difference between the Vitrum and the MIRPH one.
Yeah, Vitrum is is more energetic, it's more textured. Like you notice that especially with like albums that have like a good presence of like drums, for example, like the drum kit is much more textured, much more like maybe punchy, but to me it's not
Hard-hitting, for
exactly
sure.
punchy, it's definitely hard hitting, yeah. MIRPH one had definitely like a bit of a warm bodied kind of like sound. Vitrum is a bit leaner in that sense. Not like super lean, but definitely leaner than MIRPH 1. But still, I'd say it's a neutral, energetic sound, still with bass extension.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to call it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say it that way.
Maybe a bit more detailed. A bit
More detailed,
Yeah, yeah.
more detailed for sure. Much more detailed, especially like next to each other is like very
Yeah.
clear. Like
Yeah. Where can folks? You got a website, right?
yes, murfdesigns.com.
All right. Check out murfdesigns.com.
Thank you.
All right, cheers.